Hello everyone, welcome to my top 8 regional live twin sprite deck profile. I got 7th actually, which is not too bad. A score of 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. I was the only person with 13 points. 8th place had 12, so I was solidly in the top 8 luckily. But only just, but yeah. Anyway, we'll get into the cards. So first of all, for the live twin engine, we're playing 2 key skills, 1 frost. And we're playing the 1 treat, 2 Leelas. We're playing 3 of the snitch and 1 password. So this is quite a large live twin engine because I basically want this to be as consistent as possible. Because I mean the deck is very consistent, especially because Spright doesn't have any hits on the ban list right now. But I pretty much just want to have combo every single game, going first or going second. And running like the maximum live twin engine pretty much just guarantees it. So the reason I'm running 2 and 2, as I've mentioned many times before, is because I love having the versatility of having treat. Basically, if you normal this, it gets negated. You can use this to search for the treat and you get to special it from hand for free because you control a key skill, and vice versa. I think that a lot of people that aren't as experienced with playing live twin do try the 3 Leelas and then like 1 key skill, 1 frost, just because they want to maximize the number of draws that they get on their opponent's turn. But to be honest, with the build I'm playing, the draws are like, they're nice, but it's not that important. I'd rather have the extra consistency of making my combo a little bit better if I do get negated on this and I get to summon this with the snitch. Otherwise, if this gets negated and I wasn't playing this, I'd literally have to use Gigantic to get the other one, and then I end on like 1 evil twin, or both evil twins, as compared to like potentially like IP, Carrot, both twins, and everything like that. So yeah, that is it for the live twin engine. Next I will move on to the Spright engine. So for the Spright engine, we are playing 3 Spright Blue, 3 Jet, 1 Red, 1 Carrot, 1 Pixies, triple starter, and the 1 smashers. So we're pretty much running every Spright card. Obviously you have to run Jet and Blue at 3. Starter at 3 as well, while they're still legal. The only problem with starter is that it does make you lose in time, but there are combos where you don't need it. I've done combos before where I summon like both evil twins, IP, Carrot, and Red, and I didn't even use starter. Like, you don't need it, but it is very good to have when you're not in time. So yeah, I'm running the 1 red and the 1 carrot just because you need to run them because there's a monster effect negate and a spell trap negate. I have tried running 2 red. I haven't tried 2 carrot. It is okay against evenly, but it's a little bit more bricky. I'd rather have more non-engine. And the 1 red I'm just running at the moment because I did try 2. But I just generally didn't feel like it was that important. I feel like I'd rather end on carrot than red, just so that I don't lose to like board breakers, or, you know, I get to just negate the first spell card. It gives me a tribute, so I get to tribute and destroy a spell, especially if they lead with like a continuous or a field spell or something. And then I've instantly got the pop to bring back my Leela with key skill as well. And we're just playing the 1 smashers in main. We're not playing Gamma Burst and we're not playing Double Cross. I don't think you need to play Double Cross, especially not in the main deck, because this can be good going first or going second to out like Floodgates or problematic boss monsters like Dragoon or something like that. And yeah, so Double Cross in the main I don't think is very good, and I'm just not playing at the side because I've got things I'd rather run. And Gamma Burst I'm not really running because I've got stuff in my extra deck and in the main deck, to be honest, that can actually let me OTK. And Gamma Burst going first is pretty trash because it doesn't actually set up interruptions. There is one thing that I will say about Pixies. So Pixies did literally win me a match at the regional. So basically I was against Melfi Spright. We'd gone to time. I was going first. I did my full combo. I actually hard drew Pixies. I basically made a board of Carrot, Red, both evil twins. There was about 5 or 4 minutes left on the round, and I had Pixies in hand, so he basically just went to combo off. He went like make Skycav. He went to attack. He had Gamma Burst, which he used on attack declaration for some reason, and I just went damage calculation Pixies. He tried to negate it with Red, I had to call the judge over and say red doesn't negate activation, so you can't actually negate Pixies. And this literally won me a match because his Skycav was the only thing in attack, and I had more life points. So yeah, I love Pixies because it outs like Rival Ignista, and it can out Marincess Aqua Argonaut as well. Sometimes that does come up. And it's also a combo piece. If you just draw it going first, and you don't necessarily think that you're going to need the damage calculation effect, it's still really good to just have it as an extra extender, as extra consistency. So yeah, for the next cards I'm running are the Staples and the Hand Traps. So we're running triple Ash Blossom, triple Infinite Impermanence, and 2 Drawn on Lockbirds for the Hand Traps. So I think that these 6 you pretty much have to play in every deck because they're broken. They just hit every single deck quite well. So Imperm, you don't even have to use it on your opponent's turn. You can use it on your turn once you get there to like negate an Arise Heart or something. Ash can hit the Kashtira Theosis. It can hit the Branded Fusion. And Drawn Lockbird pretty much wins you the game against Telements. It's very good against Spright, very good against Cash. But I don't want to draw this in every matchup because it's not necessarily as good in something like Labyrinth or other decks like that, like stun decks. It's pretty good into Runic, but if they have a lot of spells in their hand and they have a way to get Fountain off of like their first search, then it's not that good. But if they lead with like Tip or something, it can be pretty good. But yeah, Droll actually came up for me round 1 in the regional against Dragon Link. Basically just drolled him, and there wasn't really much he could do. I reduced the amount of interactions he could end on quite a lot. It also came up in the final round against Telements. Pretty much game 1, I lost the coin flip. Activated Droll after he used the Triver Karma or something to search the Telements field spell. So he now can't use the effect of the Telements field spell to search a Telements monster. So he pretty much just passed on nothing. But the funny thing about that was he actually had Havnis in hand. So when I normaled a Live Twin, used the effect, he Havnis'd me. He then milled 2. No, he milled 3, saw only Telements Kashtira, milled a further 2, and then saw nothing. He literally Havnis'd me and did not even make a fusion. So I pretty much just won game 1 free. In game 2, I just evenly'd him, and then smashes his Reinhardt, and he just lost. So, yeah. So that is it for the Hand Trap lineup. Next, we're playing the triple Pot of Prosperity to basically make the deck as consistent as possible. I'm running Max Engine pretty much. Well, I could be running more Live Twins, but then it gets to the point where it's bricky. I'm pretty much running like the Max Engine to the point where it's not bricky. And this pretty much just lets me see either side deck cards, or it lets me see Engine if I don't draw it. Occasionally I will side this out going second if I decide to side in more hand traps, because obviously I'd rather draw a hand trap than this. Because if I have this in my open hand going second, and I don't think Board Breaker is very good against their deck, it's pretty useless. But we're then playing a triple enemy controller. So this is pretty much, it's very good in this deck because it's a free way to basically get one of your evil twins in grave, which has no disadvantage whatsoever. So basically you can end on both. You get to activate the cost for this for free, which is supposed to be a downside. Actually good for our deck. We get to basically steal our opponent's monster going first. Going second, we can normal Live Twin, use the effect, possibly bait an interruption, like a negate and destroy, chain this, tribute it, target like their Arise Heart or something, go battle, make like a 6 material Zeus, and it's not bad. So it's very good in Live Twin, going first and going second, so that's where I'm running that. And I'm also running a small engine of going second cards. So we're running a double thrust, 1 talents, and 1 evenly in the main deck. So the reason why I'm running this is I basically want to have 3 copies of evenly in the main deck, but I don't want to brick on drawing evenly if I am made to go first. So if I am made to go first, if they have something like a Bestial that can summon a monster, I mean Bestials you can't really use against this deck, but let's say they did like, what's the guy that summons Chaos whatever that stops banishing? I don't remember what he's called. Chaos Hunter, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So you could, if they summon Chaos Hunter, you could
Hunter.
thrust for like talents, look at their hand. It doesn't come up very often. Mainly thrust in the main deck going first is like it just searches Imperm, and you could just set it as an extra interruption. But obviously going second potentially could win you the game. So It's not completely useless going first, but it's not quite as good as it is going second. Drawing this, this is also this. Talents can also be very good for going second, but generally I'd say it's better for going first because if you have like full combo in hand, and they like ash your live twin, and you can still do everything, you just like talents look at their hand and you literally get perfect information and you just win the game. Because you remember every card in their hand, literally the only card that's going to be different from that is a top deck. You get to rip if they have like an evenly or something. You even get to like build your board differently. So I have considered running 2 talents and 1 thrust, but I do also have a lot of other targets for thrust. For example, prosperity. We can see secret password. Obviously, we've got evenly. We've got Harpy's Feather Duster in the side deck. So thrust is a lot more versatile than talents, but talents is still very good. If I wasn't playing like a mega consistent build, I might run 2 and 2, but I'm just running the 1 talents for now. I've also got the 1 evenly matched here, which, yeah, I mean, in this format, it's basically like if you break your opponent's board, you just win. In the tournament, in the regionals, I actually lost every single coin flip, all 6. And because I was playing so many going second cards in the main deck, I never felt like I was at a particular disadvantage. Like, every one of my hands, I had at least like 1 to 2 hand traps. I had a way to see evenly. I had like talents. I had econ. I had prosperity to like see whatever I wanted, right? So yeah, this is more like, obviously it's pretty much an auto win going first game 1, but it also has ways to compete if I don't win the coin flip, which, as shown by my tournament performance, 4-1-1 when I lost every single coin flip's not that bad. So yeah, now we'll move on to the extra deck. First of all, I'll show you the Evil Twin cards. So playing the 1 Trouble Sunny, absolute MVP. I love this card. My favourite card. I summoned it almost every single match, and it was actually insane. We're playing 2 Key Skill and 2 Leelas. So some people play 3 Key Skill, but I find that I don't really have space in the extra deck. I'd rather run other things, and I do have another card that, in a way, does act as our 3rd Key Skill. Our Muckraker from the Underworld. This was literally the best card in my entire deck, the whole event. I think I summoned this about 4 or 5 matches, and every single game that I summoned this in the grind game, I literally won that game. Because people do not expect this at all. It literally is a link monster that says 2 effect monsters bring back either Key Skill or Trouble Sunny from the graveyard. It's pretty much like, it's even better than Spright Elf on your turn. Obviously on your opponent's turn, it does have another effect. It does have, if a fiend monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can tribute a fiend you control instead. So, for example, if your opponent went battle phase and you had like the the 2 Evil Twins and the Muckraker, they like try and crash over the Muckraker or something, you could like tribute that instead. And then when they like tried to crash over the other one, you could then tribute itself. And then they've attacked twice and pretty much done nothing. You just basically tailor what they do. It protects you from Raigeki as well. Normally I wouldn't say this is worth putting on your first board. It's definitely better for follow-up, but in like turn 5 or 6 situation, Muckraker could definitely come up, leaving it on your board. Well, obviously, you don't really link off, because you just free link 4, pretty much, if you've got it in grave. This gives you both. If you end with it as well, you could like use the effect, summon the 2, and then you could make Muckraker off the 2, bring it back. So yeah, Muckraker was definitely the MVP. Like with Spright Elf gone, this is like, people don't expect the fact that you can draw no live twins and just turn any 2 monsters into a full Evil Twin engine. It's so broken actually. So yeah, we're also playing the 1 IP, the 1 Unicorn, and the 1 Sprint. So the reason why we're playing Sprint is if we draw only Spright cards, turn 1, we can Sprint to send one of the colours, Gigantic summon the other colour, and then we get access to the full Evil Twin engine. IP and Unicorn. So Unicorn basically just outs stuff that have leave the field effects, like Mirror Jade, and it's also an interruption if we make IP turn 1. Yeah, this card's really broken as well, because you get to draw 1, both if you're using it for follow-up and on your opponent's turn. So if you have, basically, if you get Unicorn's effect, you get Key Skills draw when she's summoned off Leela, and Frost, you're literally drawing 3 cards on your opponent's turn. which I could be drawing into like a Droll, an Ash Blossom, like an Imperm if they wipe my whole board and then I have follow-up. It's pretty broken Unicorn, to be honest. It does kind of suck that it's a Link 3 and not a Link 2. Like, you could play Nightmare Cerberus or Nightmare Phoenix, but this kind of just is Phoenix and Cerberus in one card. And yeah, I just really like it as well. It has the arrows pointing left and right as well, so you can summon the evil twins to both sides as well. Guaranteed get the co-link. So yeah, IP we basically just make if we either have the 3-card full combo, or we have the 2-card combo, and we can basically we're not too worried about ending on red. Like, for example, against Kashtira, I'd never summon this turn 1, because I'd much rather have red and carrot. But against something like Marincess, maybe, that just summons a monster, if you shuffle it, they just lose. Because they don't have, basically, their way to summon Spring Girl. Because they don't have Marincess in Grave. They've used their normal summon. Like, against some decks, it's just so good. So yeah, these are the Link monsters that I am playing. Or rather, that I played at the regional. I'm also playing Double Zeus, 1 Downard, 1 Ninja Shadow, and 2 Gigantic Spright. So I think 2 Gigantic Spright is definitely the best ratio. You could play 3, but to be honest, summoning the second one doesn't actually come up that much with this deck, because normally our follow-up plays are just the evil twins. Gigantic's mainly just there to like see like a carrot or a red going first. If we draw only live twins, we can see our Spright engine. If we draw only Sprites, we can see our live twin engine. But sometimes it does come up for the OTK, and it does make a difference, so you have to run it too. Also, Cash could just rip it, and then you just lose if you run it at once, so yeah. We've got Ninja Shadow, which can't be destroyed by battle, so you pretty much just make this, get free Zeus, unless they have some form of spot removal. Downward gives us our 4th material on the Zeus, and we're running 2 Zeus just in case we get like Kashtira Unicorned, or we get the Diablosis used on it. So we've still got the 2. They're pretty much never going to hit this when it's at 2 as well. They're never going to banish it from my actual deck. So yeah, having Zeus definitely did come up a few times during the regional. I do think that is very good, and I didn't really feel like there was anything else I needed in my extra deck. I have experimented with Link Karibo to counter evenly matched, but it just summoning a Link 1 in a Spright deck is just very difficult to do. Because it basically makes you lose to hand traps way more. You also lose to Nibiru hard, which a lot of people are playing this format, so that's why I haven't played Link Karibo. Even though we do lose to evenly quite hard, but I will now show you my side deck. So we do have ways to counter evenly. So for the going first cards, we have 1 Appointer, double D barrier, and going first and going second card, we're playing the triple artifact Lancia. So Lancia basically says your opponent activates evenly, chain Lancia, negate evenly, and every other leave evenly in the hand. So this can make them waste their battle phase, negate evenly. We still have a board of full interruptions. We don't need to use carrot. We literally just like Lancia is so good going first. D barrier is an auto win against branded. It can also be very good against Kashtira when you have ways of removing their monsters off the field. And even if they out their board, they're not making like a scary Xe monster, and we probably just have like Imperm and a live twin in hand from like all the draws that we did, even if they do break our board, and we just destroy them anyway. Another thing about this is that these 3 cards can also be searched off of Thrust going first. So if we get like Ash Blossom and we have Thrust, we could just search Appointer, which lets us look at our opponent's hand, which is pretty broken. One thing to note about Pointer is that you actually do have to have at least 1 card in your hand to activate this card. You can't just, because it says you have to reveal your hand for cost, you can't just reveal nothing. Like, you do have to at least have 1 card, and it does pay 2,000 life points, which does make you lose in time, but normally I find with this deck you're going second in time anyway. Normally you're not really going first in time, but if you are, you just don't search this and just go deep barrier, and you just keep your life points as high as possible. But yeah, this card is broken. There's a reason it's limited. I genuinely think with that new Trap Trick, Retrain, and Thrust, I genuinely think this card's going to get banned. I think it's very good. So yeah, Lancia, not only is it as going first card, it's also very good going second. So it's very good against Branded. If they go make Albion first, and you just chain this to the effect they can't banish. So the Albion just resolves with no effect, and then they probably don't have much. It doesn't necessarily stop the expulsion lock, but we do have other ways to out the expulsion lock. I didn't really play against Brandon at the regional, so yeah, but obviously this deck is also prepped for the YCS. So we're playing 2 more evenly matched in the side deck. So we have a total of 3, we've got 2 thrusts, so we basically have 5 evenly matched. So we can just see it as much as possible. We also have the 1 duster, which is mainly for Labyrinth. But it can also be against like any other good stun deck, like Runic Stun. If we have like Imperm and Duster, we can out all of the floodgates, because we just Imperm the Hugin, out all their floodgates. We're also playing Triple Cosmic Cyclone. So at the regional, I was actually playing Twin Twisters, but yeah, I just think Cosmic Cyclone's better. It's much better against Runic. I actually think Runic is one of the best engines or decks in the game right now. So just having him out for it is really good. And we're also playing Kurikara Divincarnate, or Divincarnate, which is very, very broken. I was actually playtesting against my friend the other day, who was playing Kashtira. He 9-zone locked me, and I just Kurikara attributed away 4 of his Xyz monsters, summoned a 7,500 Xyz monster when I normally would have just lost, because I would have had 9 zones locked, and I already used my normal summon. So this card is basically this is what I'm playing instead of Nibiru, because I think people are playing around Nibiru a lot right now. So just having a dead card in your hand is really bad. But this card against Cash, unless they lock your 5 monster zones, is never going to be useless. But to be honest, they don't really lock your 5 monster zones, because then they just lose like evenly, or like Book of Eclipse or something. So they normally do go for the spell and trap zones first. So yeah, that is it for my side deck. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, because I'm also going to be playing this deck at the YCS this weekend. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. See ya.